So I'm using some big needles just because they'd be easier for you to see, and kind of some heavy yarn. I'm right-handed, so hopefully you're right-handed as well. If you're left-handed, you just have to do this backwards. Let me know and I can show you left-handed, but I'm right-handed. So I know you know how to cast on, but I'm gonna cast on 10 just to have 10 stitches here. 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so I have my 10 cast on stitches, and this is the end, and I do this just so that I'm not tempted to somehow start knitting with this little piece, because this is not the part you knit with. So I'm just gonna tie this off. You could cut it, but I would leave it longer so that you can weave it in later. But anyway, now I'm not going to be tempted to start knitting with this instead of picking up the yarn that's in the ball. Okay, so now I had it in my right hand. I took the cast on stitches on the needle into my left hand, and with my right hand I'm going under the first stitch like that, and then from behind I put the yarn over and I pull, and I have to push with my finger. I pull it through to get my first knit stitch. So now I have a knit stitch here. I'm going to do the same with the second. And you have to just kind of tighten it to get them, get rid of the slack. And there'll be slack in between. That's just how it is for the first row. So now, but I'm just worried, my concern is just that the ones in my right hand look nice and even, and I have not too tight, not too loose. Okay, so let me finish this and then go to the next row. And when you get towards the end, this is where it gets tempting to pull. If you're not watching, you pull the short end. That's why I tie it up like that. So I'm not using that. Always using the yarn from the ball. And you'll notice that I have like the distance keeps getting bigger between the two, and that's fine because it's gonna be the end anyway. And I can fix that later. But my 9th stitch. So now I have my very last stitch, and I can kind of fix that. So now I have all 10 stitches knit and back on my right hand. So this shows there's one full knit, and this is again the tail that I tied out so I don't mistake it. So then you turn it around, and if this is just straight knitting, you just again put it into your left hand and you do the same thing back and shift them over to the right hand. I think the trick is just to tighten it right as you go, and probably the trickiest part for a beginner is just holding the needles both and manipulating the yarn, managing the yarn and holding the needles at the same time. But once you get it, it's kind of like driving a stick shift, and it seems impossible, and then something clicks. But this is the basic mechanics of it. I don't know if this is considered the knit stitch. I could show you, on the next round, I'll show you how to purl. It's kind of the opposite, in case you need to know how to purl, because I don't know what you're making, but if you just knit, like you knit every single row, you get, it's just knit. But if you want to do what's called stockinette, it's you knit and then you purl and then you knit and you purl, and it makes it not so. This, when you knit it all, it's kind of heavy on one side and it's nicer on the other side. Actually, I think this is stockinette when it's all like that, not bulky. But if you want to alternate it to make it more even, you can purl. So you would knit a row and then purl a row. And to purl, you still hold it in your left hand, but instead of putting it, the dog wants to get him left. Instead of putting the needle this way, you put the needle to the front. And then you around and off. And what you notice about it is it's the stitches going across the front. So you go to behind and around and off. Behind. I'll just finish this and I'll do one more row, and I think that'll be enough. This is the purl stitch. Okay, so now I've purled, and what you notice here is when you purl, this is what someone told me. The stitch, you see the stitch, see the stitch goes across like a pearl necklace. That's how someone explained it. So you have these stitches, that's how you know it's a pearl. On the back this would be what it looks like if it's knit, and it looks like a V-neck sweater is how it was described to me. So you don't have that bar going across on the knit side, only on the purl side you have it. So now I'm gonna knit again. So I just purled there, I'm gonna knit this, and you'll see the difference. I'm kind of doing it a little bit looser so it's bigger. So again, because this was knit, you see like the V-necks, you don't have that bar across. And this is considered stockinette stitch when it's this almost looks braided and the back side is bumpy. Which is usually not the front. Usually this would be the front of the scarf or the sweater, and that's from alternating knitting and purling. Okay, hopefully this is helpful. Let me know if you need me to do any more, but hopefully it's helpful.